Hi all, Bones here from D3 Bantams, and in this episode I'm just going to give you a bit of a rundown of what we're up to in the workshop, which is actually fixing one of my bikes, the D3 Plunger. I recently had this bike on the British two-stroke rally up at Heathcote 2 or 3 weeks ago, and the bike stopped. So I've had a bit of an investigation. I might add it was close to 40 degrees when we were on the rally, so the little Bantam didn't like the hills too much and it just stopped. So I'll bring you in a bit closer and I'll show you what we've found. Alrighty, so if you can hear the background noise, that's Justin on the lathe, and I'll take you over there in a minute to show you what happened. So, very warm day when I was riding the bike, and hopefully we'll get that focused, but you can see how hot that plug got, and you can see the little speckles on it, which is the piston starting to say, I don't like this heat. So the reason the bike actually stopped was because it whiskered the plug up with bits of metal. Piston, you can see the temperature on that, and it was starting not to enjoy the ride, but more importantly, it got that hot it started stretching the gudgeon pin hole. If you can see how oval that is, I did notice it just before the bike stopped, and I wish you could see down in there, but down the back in here on this side, it's actually broken out the boss of where the gudgeon pin sits, and that's all broken in there. You can see how warm it got. Head, if I show you in the right light, you can see little speckles like down in here and there. That's the piston starting to spit bits of molten metal out. Barrel is actually alright, no marks or anything in that. We'll obviously have to go and I think we'll have to have a rebore. I haven't measured it up yet, but I'm pretty confident it'll need a rebore. So not too disastrous. You can see all the little speckles and things on there. Not too disastrous, but I have ridden a Bantam in weather that's that warm before, and I was nursing it along. I mean, I wasn't trying to do anything ridiculous. It just stopped. It just whiskered the plug up with bits of crap and stopped. But anyway, what I'll do now is I'll take you over the lathe and show you what we're making over there. Rightio, that's Justin just over there, and what we're actually making at the moment are the bolts that hold your handlebar clamps on. So 2-inch long, 5/16 bolts. Now they will go back into the lathe and have a domed head put on this end, and then we'll buff that up and send it away to be chrome plated. But we're making that at the moment. I'll take you in a bit closer to the lathe and show you what's going on. So Justy's just starting the job off. So we've got the stop that's here, tightens up the chuck. Just clearing out the swarf out of the Coventry die head, and you'll turn the coolant pump on and start turning the two diameters. Sorry, just the single diameter, the 5/16 diameter for the thread. So this will be done in 2 separate cuts. So we take a roughing cut. So over there on the dial, it's already preset. So you can hear that bit of a vibration noise. Well, that's cutting all the hex. It's cutting through the hex. Now you can see Justin is actually turning it by hand, and that's because this 100-year-old machine doesn't have power feed. So Just is just finishing off the second cut, which is the cut that takes it down to the 5/16 diameter to cut the thread on the end of this bolt. So he will feed it up to a mark that is coming up around on the dial on his compound slide, on his carriage, and then he'll wind the tool out. That tool will move over. Now this tool right here is a chamfering tool, so he's winding that in. That's on another mark. That will put a chamfer on it, and that's the lead in for this thing over here, which is a Coventry die head, which cuts threads. Whilst the machine's in the park position out of the way and the tools are away from the chuck, he changes over to his parting off tool. That goes over to a stop. Carriage is locked. Coolant pump's turned off. It gives the diameter a bit of a polish because these are going to be chrome plated, so we want it to look really nice. So it's just polishing that diameter off. Coolant pump back on, and that's actually just to wash off all the residues from the emery paper, so the residues from the emery paper don't damage and wear out the actual cutting traces in here. So 5/16 diameter thread. Fully cut in one hit. So just bringing the stop around, you can just see the stop down here to do the next one. And now he's going to cool it back on, and he's going to part it off. So when he starts, you hear it sort of humming a bit as the parting off tool starts cutting through the hex. There it goes, and then that'll stop as he cut a full diameter. Nice and easy, and that'll go through and drop off. And there you have it. And that's it. Alright, so what we're looking at here is the Coventry die head. So I'm figuring most of you would never have seen one of these. This is pretty old equipment, and to give you a bit of an idea, nice grubby screwdriver. So these here, these four things here, actually have thread ground into them. So when we want to cut the thread, we lock it up. So that's fed onto the job. And as this carriage hits the stop, this sleeve pulls out like that, and then opens up to let go of the job. So we'll just lock that up again. So that's fed onto the job, it hits the stop, this piece here actually keeps coming forward and locks itself like that, and then lets go of the job. So this is how a lot of your BSA Bantam threads, bolts and all that would have been made. So yeah, old school technology, but good stuff. Nice British made Herbert one there from Birmingham. You can still get the thread chasers, and obviously I've got a huge range of threads that we can cut. Over the back here, this little dial here actually adjusts this, so I can cut a thread that's slightly deeper, which I have done on this, and the reason for that I've cut a deeper thread is that it's got to be chrome plated, so the chrome will actually take up a bit of the thread. But anyway, Coventry die head. So what we have to do now is turn the radius on this end. So this is what's called a form tool. It's got a radius ground into it. So now I will form the radius on it. I will use a file to take out a few of the machine marks and a bit of emery paper to clean it up just before we buff it. So that's our form. So we're ready to go over and buff it now. Buff going there. I'm just going to knock off this burr. There's the finest little burr from when you finish machining, so we knocked it off with the wire buff. Just run the thread over to make sure there's no little fluffy bits on that. Bit of rouge. And we start buffing this up. So now we've got our mop on, and this is the finish. This is the finish polishing it. And that is what we end up with. So what I'll do now is once I've got them all done, I'll oil them, pack them up, send them off to our electroplaters up in Bendigo. Ollie does a fantastic job, and they will come back chrome plated, ready to sell. We'll put nuts and washers with them as well as a kit of 4, and then off they'll go. So as you can hear, Justin's still cranking away in the background, machining up the last of those bolts. My D3, yeah, there's a bit of work to go on. I haven't measured up the bore. I think I'll probably do a rebore, new piston and all that while I've got it down. So I have done just under 5,000 miles on this bike without a rebuild or anything like that. So I can't complain. I do ride this bike an awful lot, and it does big mileage. So it's nothing to do 200, 250 kilometres in a day on a rally with no real issues. Other than the last rally I went on where it was probably too hot. I should have just probably put it on the trailer, but not well. The other bikes, that the D7 Pastoral, we took it out for a ride the other day, some gearbox issues. I took it out today. I'll probably did about 40 kilometres today, and no real issues. I had one issue where it didn't quite select first after I came to a dead stop. So that's getting a lot better, and the bike's sort of freeing up a little bit and just wanting to go. So pretty happy with that. That's about it for this episode. A bit of a short and sweet one, but if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe or hit like or comment. But I really appreciate it. So from Justin and I at D3 Bantams, we'll see you later. Bye bye.